How's it going, everybody? So we have a fun review today as we're talking Joker, Folie, Deux. It's still kind of surreal to me that this movie even exists at all. 5 years ago, back when the first Joker came out, it was one of those love it or hate it kind of experiences, which I more so enjoyed, but nothing about that movie at all ever screams sequel to me, but at the end of the day, that is the power of your movie grossing over $1 billion at the box office. While Arthur Fleck is institutionalized at Arkham, struggling with his dual identity and awaiting trial for his crimes as Joker, he not only stumbles upon true love, but also finds the music that always has been inside him. Now, I anticipated that this sequel would take some pretty huge creative swings. Biggest of all, I think the obvious one is, despite what Todd Phillips says, this movie 100% is a musical, a direction that I think could alienate a large portion of the audience, amongst other reasons that we'll talk about a little bit later. The vastly different approach from a storytelling perspective is a pretty bold one I can respect as a vehicle to continue to explore the darker psyche of Arthur Fleck in a deeper, more personal fashion while he's locked away in Arkham. A significant portion of Joker Folie Deux isn't going for that same type of sensationalism as the original, and how it crafts its story and all-around thrills while still maintaining most of the same underlying cultural commentary. When breaking this film down, it is a weird blending of genres, a court drama, a prison drama, then to top it all off, it is a musical, and strangely, despite my concerns beforehand, it sort of works. Largely in part due to the commitment and weaving the musical narrative into the story. Though this movie is a jukebox musical, it is engaging how many of these sequences essentially work as Arthur and Lee's love language as they become more infatuated with each other from the moment they meet in a singing class in Arkham. Something that I never thought there would ever be in Arkham Asylum. Just made me think of, when it happened, all these other Batman villains in Arkham Asylum if potentially they took singing lessons. For as out there as this all is conceptually, a large factor into why I think this twisted tale works is the performances. Joaquin Phoenix's performance as Joker was brilliant in the first film, and that brilliance does carry over into the sequel. A large part of the focus here is in how it chooses to continue Arthur's arc in an interesting exploration of sorts into Arthur's split personality, whether or not he even has a split personality, since that is the plea that they put in for his trial. Coupling that with the newfound notoriety as the Joker, and then of course, eventually he is put on trial for all of his different murders. Joaquin Phoenix's performance as Arthur continues to be extremely captivating, albeit it's a much more restrained portrayal this time around, but doubles down on exploring the disturbing neurotic mind and tendencies of Arthur, and all these different delusions we see him have, which leads to some pretty surprising things by the end of the film. Arguably, Lady Gaga is almost just as good as Joaquin Phoenix in this, as Lee Quinzel, aka Harley Quinn. It's a kind of performance that is kind of unconventional compared to a lot of other usual portrayals of Harley Quinn. She still has a very deranged presence in nature, but much less flamboyantly psychotic. There's a lot of great nuances that play with her performance while she plays incredibly well off of Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, sure, they are pretty messed up individuals, but something about the infatuation they have with one another does have a certain charm to it. If you're someone that isn't favorable towards musicals, I definitely don't think you're gonna have a great time with this. However, if you are into that sort of thing, these over-the-top musical numbers are brilliantly done. It adds many different layers to exploring Arthur and Lee's mania with these fantastical, creative, shared delusions. It's helped out a lot by how gorgeous this film is from a cinematography and production design level. One of those aspects I loved the most was the usage of lighting to help highlight many of Arthur's cracks mentally. Plus, for as bonkers of an idea of it was to have this sequel be a musical, at least they do go all in on those musical numbers. Many of them do stand out, but one of my favorites probably is when the two of them dance under the moonlight on Gotham's rooftop, or a different one where the two of them are waltzing through fire. Unsurprisingly, one of the best aspects to these musical numbers is definitely Lady Gaga. She's amazing doing all these different musical numbers, but you know, I gotta give it to Joaquin Phoenix. Also does a pretty good job with the singing and dancing, to the point where I'm probably gonna listen to it if it's on the soundtrack. The all-around vastly different, more artistic approach Todd Phillips brings to this sequel, I do feel it's gonna turn a lot of people off if you're someone that did enjoy that original film. Music aside, it's trying to say and do a lot with Arthur's arc that I was intrigued by, as it does attempt to add depth to the character. Some of its messaging does become muddled as it goes along, heading into Arthur's trial, and the way that it decides to revisit some of the events of the first film. You definitely can tell with some of these creative decisions and how it takes aim at many of the big fans of that original film. There was never any actual intentions originally to make a follow-up film to Joker. And for what it's worth, what was cobbled together was better than I expected. Also, at the same time, I didn't know what to expect because I wasn't anticipating a sequel. Really though, I think the biggest point of contention is going to be the ending. I think that is probably the most controversial bit bit of Joker 2. And in my opinion, it sort of blows up in your face everything you were invested in with Arthur and the Joker as a character. Of course, this is no spoilers, but all I will say is I will be extremely shocked if there is a Joker 3 in any shape or form. I mean, who knows? Maybe this makes another $1 billion and they find some way to do it, but I think it would be a lot more difficult this time around compared to the ending of Joker 1. Overall, Joker Folie is a very different animal than Joker, but manages to be an interesting follow-up film. The bold creative decisions and direction it takes the characters in won't be for everyone, but the anchors of Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga do salvage a lot of the chaos here. Similar to that very first Joker film 5 years ago, I do think this sequel is going to be very divisive, just for extremely different reasons, but I am very curious to talk about it with you guys in the comment section down below once you get a chance to check out the film. Let me know, what did you think of Joker Folie? Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? Share all your thoughts down below, because the fun is that conversation with you guys in the comment section. Thank you guys, as always, checking out videos. I always do appreciate it. You should like on the video and also subscribe to the channel so you update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. But next time, I'll see you guys later.